Microtech Ultratech UTX 85 Tactical. The Benchmade Infidel Auto. The Spyderco Shaman in green micarta CPM M4 exclusive Blade HQ. The Glider Balisong. The Benchmade Griptilian Custom. The Microtech Stitch Auto. What I am presenting to you before your eyes tonight are some of the most refined, respected, and popular knives in the knife community this day. Some of you right now might be saying, wow, I want those knives. Yes, with all due reason, because they are very nice knives. However, tonight I am not going to talk about any of these. Why? Because tonight is a very special night, because we're going to get nostalgic about knives. And we're going to come full circle with knives tonight. It is so special of a presentation that I have elected to celebrate this with maybe a stogie and maybe a bit of Kentucky bourbon. And I might even be wearing a felt hat. Why, you say? Because sometimes life goes in full circle. And as we collect knives and collect things and just live life, sometimes we go back to basics. Sometimes we start here, go somewhere else, and then end up back where we came from. So, in essence, let's say goodbye to the typical knife collecting world. And let's say hello to the past. Might I introduce to you this? What is this, you say? Well, I don't know. Why? Because I obtained this knife when I was 15 years old. And I don't even know what it is. It is a lockback. It used to have a wolf on it. It is a stainless steel from Japan. And it's really nothing special. But it's my first knife. And it's special to me. I've got something else for you. This is a case Barlow. And it is beat to hell. The blade is worn. The penknife is worn. It's pitted. And it's seen a lot. Vintage knife stemming from the early 1970s, possibly the early 1960s, according to the stamp, and is probably as old as me. The Buck 110. I've had this knife for quite some time. It is tarnished. It is used. And there's really nothing special about it. It's a $50 knife. This, when it first came out, was probably a $10 knife. This, I traded a beat-up BB gun for it off of a friend. But why are these knives so special, you might ask? Why do they trump all of the riches that I just presented to you? For example, this Otter Messer. That has nothing special, really, other than it just being a carbon steel knife. What is so special about these knives, you say? Well, I've got to tell you something. Life does go in full circle. And at first, when I started collecting knives, the knives that I showed you in the beginning of the video were the holy grail of knives. And pardon me while I take part in another puff of the stogie. But what I'm going to present to you tonight is something that is very near and dear to me, because it just represents how life does go in full circle. My first firearm was a lever action Henry 22. And then, of course, I went on to ARs, AR-10s. I even went to so much as getting a... I don't even want to get into all the guns I have, because that's a different video. Anyway, I got a lot of guns. And now my favorite gun to shoot is that same lever action 22. So let's get to it. Let's put these aside. And I'd like to present something to you that is very nostalgic and brings us back to full circle, brings us back to childhood, brings us back to the essence of what knives really came to be, and what to me today is really the essence and the pinnacle of knives. What we have here is a Berg Castle by Boker. And before I open this, I've got to give you some history of it. What is in this box is possibly over 1,000 years old. It came from Germany and possibly built with wood that might be as old, going back as 1133. But let's get right into it. Let's see what's in the box. It's a Boker, as I promised. Solingen, which I think is the location of where it's made. Comes in this really nice pouch. And anything that comes in a pouch has got to be nice, right? And pardon me before I must take I'm quite parched. Thank you for that. And let me open this here with some silence, because it does deserve it. What we have here is a Berg Castle Boker. And this knife here is what they call the Prime Castle Wood. And just to give you some background here, the Berg Castle, to which this wood came from, was built in 1133. Built by Duke Adolf III, was abandoned in the 1200s after the War of the Secession for the Duchy of Limburg, whatever that is. A little bit more history of this castle. In 1632, Swedish soldiers took siege of this castle after the 30 Years' War and destroyed the fort. In 1882, this castle was reconstructed, and a fire in 1920 destroyed most of it. It's been reconstructed ever since, and its original timbers were left in a pile near this castle, and Boker decided to salvage a small portion of these timbers to make what I have presented to you tonight. What we have here is the Boker Barlow Prime in Castlewood. What we have here is an acid-washed clip point blade with a nail nick. Let me get my presentation block here. And let me zoom into this because you deserve it, buddy. It has oak handles, and there's 6 models of these. What we have here is the Prime, but they do have the Barlow. They have a lockback version. And each of these models, they made 1,133 per model. What we have here, and each one is numbered, if we can see that, this is number 572 out of 1133. And what we have here, a total length of 6.125 inches. The blade is 2.75 inches. It is made out of O1 steel. You might be saying, what is that? What is O1 steel? Well, for all you people that are into metallurgy, it's a tool steel, not a stainless steel. In order to be considered a stainless steel, it must be at least 0.6 chromium. In order to be stainless steel, it must be considered at least 12% chromium, and this is only 0.6. The hardness is 57 HC at 600 tempering temperature. As far as the steel goes, it's got great edge retention, hardness, but is not corrosion resistant. However, Boker had a nice acid wash on this, which will help in your corrosion resistance. And pardon me while I wet my whistle. Again, it is deserving of a beverage. It's got great edge retention, not corrosion resistant, like I said. It is not quite an A2 or a D2 steel, but it's still a good steel. They prefer these types of steel because they're easy to forge. They're easy to work on. They still have good edge retention. They're still a quality steel. It's still considered a tool steel, which is good, but it's not the best steel out there. But I didn't purchase this knife as a working knife. I purchased this as a nostalgic piece of history. You got a flat grind. Your bolsters are nickel silver. And you've got brass liners, as you can see in there. And it weighs 2.10 ounces. And again, each one is numbered. I have the privilege of owning number 572. And I purchased this from Knife Country USA. I have no affiliation with them. It just seemed to be one of the places that had them available. Right now, as I make this video, they are still available on Blade HQ and on Knife Country USA. I have no affiliation with these retailers. They are excellent, excellent vendors, and I would highly recommend them. Knife Country USA, if you're watching, if you want to send me a knife to review, I'd be more than happy to do that. But again, life goes in full circle. These knives, for some reason, are now my favorite knives. And I told you before, check out my previous videos. One of them titled, I'm no longer collecting high-end knives. And why is that? Just a personal preference. I just feel that knives that run a pretty penny such as these, they are nice. However, for the price of a knife such as this, you can purchase a bunch of these and just have more. It's just my personal opinion. No big deal. And if you lose one of these, no big deal. Just go to Walmart and get yourself another one. No problem. But if you lose one of these, you might need to see a shrink. So yeah, I just basically wanted to give you a nice nostalgic review of this beautiful knife. And if you can help me out, I'd like to take a vote. Do I carry this or do I queen it? Because it's almost a shame to keep this locked away. It's like having a beautiful girlfriend and you want to keep her away from the public because you don't want anyone to gawk at her. but sometimes you just want to show it off. Man, what are your personal opinions on this? I'm going to take this to a vote. And please leave a comment. Carrie or queen? Just leave one word. If you want to talk more, knock yourself out. But I need to know. To carry or to queen? That is the question. Admire this while I whip my whistle again. Tasty. But something like this is a part of history. And let's just talk about how it feels. Well, let's see here. The pull with this nail nick is about, it's strong. I'm going to say it's about a 5.5. You do have a half stop. You've got a very pronounced click at the end, which I like. And your walk and talk just seems handmade. You can tell this is a handmade item just by the imperfections of the wood there. Look at that beautiful tree right there. These pins are nice and flush. You can tell that this was made by hand and this was done with time. Whoever made this, they were not rushing. This was not an assembly line type of thing. This person was just relaxed, just like I am now. And that's why I'm celebrating this with a little bit of a stogie. Ooh, my lights just flickered. Please, the power don't go out. That's why I'm celebrating this with a little bit of a adult beverage and a stogie, just because sometimes you got to just stop and smell the knives. Just giving you a little close up here. What is that? I can't really make out what that says. It says Boker Solingen. Anyone that's been to Germany, I would love to know. I would be honored, actually, if anyone that's been to that castle can comment and let me know if you've been to this location. But again, life goes in full circles. I started out with these and this, and then we went on to things like this, and now I'm back to this. Why? Because of the simplicity of it, the nostalgia of it. It's refined. It's a gentleman. It's a work of art. Not to take anything away from these modern knives. I mean, they are nice. Anyone that takes one of these out says, oh yeah, it's an infidel. Very nice. But you know what? These are a dime a dozen. After these are made, they'll be gone and that's it. You won't be able to get them ever again. So I'd be very, very interested. If you have any of these, please let me know. Please make a comment. And while I'm at it, please check out my previous videos. I've got plenty of videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in our knife community. I've got some other really popular videos in there. Dessert Warrior, how to get discounts on Microtech knives. If you're into Microtech knives and you are a person in law enforcement or first responder, I've got a YouTube video on how to get these knives right here at a huge discount. Check out that video. And if there's anything that you'd like for me to review for you, just leave me a message. If you want to send me a message personally, go to my Instagram at Motoknivesandgunsbyjt. Send me an Instagram message and say, please review this. Or if there's something that you would like for me to review that you sell or that you're getting into, please, you're more than welcome to send it to me. Send me a message and I will be more than happy to review it if you send it to me. Just like this hanky that I did a review on my last video, which I've got some great views on it, done by Downrange Hanks. And if you want to get some of these hankies, you can get a discount with my discount code, which is Motoknives10, all capital letters, Motoknives10, and it is in my description. If you check out my last video where I reviewed the hankies, my code is there, and there's also a link in my last video. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank you very, very much for tuning in tonight. It was an honor having you attend my video. And if you haven't yet, again, please hit that bell button, like and subscribe, and please share, because I would love, love, love to have you as part of my knife community. I thank you very much. Hope you have a very pleasant evening. Take care of yourself. Ciao, ciao.